What is up guys, Jeremy here of Social Vignerons. Welcome back to another wine video. Today I am giving you my guide to the top 40 wine terms, classic wine terms you should really know and nail the pronunciation of. We are going to be looking at how you would normally pronounce them in English, so we keep things simple, but because I'm French and I speak fluent Spanish and Italian, I am also going to give you the authentic, genuine pronunciation from their country of origin. Make sure to stay tuned till the end of the video, where I will give you my favorite wine quote of them all. Let's go! Let's start with the great classic French wine region, Alsace. Alsace. And a great classic Italian appellation, Amarone. Amarone are very powerful, pungent, concentrated red wines. Amarone, or the Italian way, Amarone, or Amarone della Valpolicella. Another great Italian classic, Barbera, or Barbera. The appellations that are very typical of the Barbera grape variety are Barbera d'Asti or Barbera d'Alba. Another French, classic French wine region, Beaujolais. If you want to pronounce it the real French way, say Beaujolais. Bordeaux, an easy, classic one, French wine region, Bordeaux. Another great Italian classic, Brunello. Note how there's a double L on here, so you really have to insist on the L's. Brunello, or the Italian way, Brunello. Brunello di Montalcino. This is a term that applies to champagne and other sparkling wines produced in a dry, very dry style, Brut, or the French way, Brut. A great classic wine region producing fantastic Pinot Noir and Chardonnay wines, Bourgogne. Bourgogne, or in English, Burgundy. The most popular, the most famous of all red grape varieties producing wine of French origin, Cabernet Sauvignon. You can say Cabernet Sauvignon, the real French way, Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon. The Cabernet Sauvignon's cousin, Cabernet Franc. The real French way, you wouldn't pronounce the C. You would just say Cabernet Franc. This is the classic Spanish sparkling wine, Cava. Note how, in spite of the V, you have to pronounce like a B in the typical Spanish way, Cava. A great classic Chardonnay wine from France, Chablis. Note how you don't pronounce the S at the end. Just say Chablis. Champagne, I'm sure you know this one already, Champagne. The real French way, Champagne. The most popular white grape variety from France, Chardonnay. The real French way, Chardonnay. Chateau, I'm sure you know this one, just Chateau. The real French way, Chateau. A classic French white grape variety, Chenin Blanc. Chenin Blanc. In French, you wouldn't pronounce the C at the end, just say Chenin Blanc. Great, the most famous of all red Italian wines, Chianti. Chianti, that's easy. A term designated a vineyard or a particular area in France, a cru. In French, cru. A classic red French grape variety, the one responsible for making the Beaujolais wines, Gamay. A very powerful aromatic German grape variety, Gewürztraminer. Gewürztraminer. This one can vary in pronunciation, but generally speaking, Gewürztraminer. Classic French red grape variety, Grenache. Grenache. The real French way, Grenache. A French classic that has become a little bit Argentinian, that's found a new home in Argentina, Malbec. Malbec. I did make a video about the Malbecs of Argentina. I'll link up this video. Malbec. Merlot. French red grape variety, Merlot. Note how you wouldn't pronounce the T at the end, just say Merlot. The most famous of all champagne houses, Moët and Chandon. Note how you do pronounce the T at the end of Moët. I did make an individual video dedicated to how you have to pronounce Moët and Chandon, not Moët and Chandon. So go and check this out. Nebbiolo, a classic red Italian grape variety, Nebbiolo. Note there is double B on this word, so you really have to insist on the B. Nebbiolo. Saint-Émilion, a classic appellation for the Bordeaux area, producing some of the most famous, the tastiest red wines in Bordeaux. Saint-Émilion. Saint-Émilion, the real French way, Saint-Émilion. Classic French red grape variety, responsible for some of the best wines in the Rhone Valley. Also very popular in Australia, Syrah, known in Australia as Shiraz. Its cousin grape variety, Petite Syrah. Petite Syrah. A great thirst-quenching white wine from Italy, Pinot Grigio. Classic Italian sparkling wine, Prosecco. Prosecco. Note how there is a double C here, so you really have to insist on the C. Prosecco. In Italian, Prosecco. The most famous of all appellations in Prosecco, one of the best sparkling Prosecco wines are the DOCG wines of Conegliano Valdobbiadene. Conegliano Valdobbiadene, or Prosecco di Conegliano Valdobbiadene. The cousins of Pinot Grigio, the French name for it, Pinot Gris. Pinot Gris. Or you can say Pinot Gris, if you really want to pronounce it the French way. Pinot Noir, the great classic red French grape variety, producing some of the most subtle, elegant and the most expensive wines in the world, Pinot Noir. Classic South African grape variety, Pinotage. Pinotage. Pinotage is actually a crossing between the Pinot Noir and a French grape variety called Cinsault. Pinotage. Riesling, classic German grape variety, Riesling, found in Alsace that we talked about before, but also most famous Riesling wines come from the Mosel, but they are produced all around the world. Great examples from California, Australia, New Zealand and many other countries, and Austria I should mention. The most famous of all Spanish wine appellations, Rioja. Rioja. You can just say Rioja. The most famous of all Burgundy wine producers, producing some of the very most expensive wines in the whole world, the wine estate of Romanée Conti. Romanée Conti. The real French way, Romanée Conti. Romanée Conti. Classic Italian grape variety from Tuscany, Toscana, Sangiovese. Sangiovese. Sangiovese is the grape behind the Chianti wine area, as well as Brunello that we talked about before. Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc, classic French white grape variety, responsible for the wines of Sancerre, many of the white wines in Bordeaux as well. Sauvignon Blanc. The most classic of all Spanish grape varieties, Tempranillo, the grape behind the wines of Rioja. Tempranillo. Classic French aromatic grape variety, producing white wines, the wines of Condrieu, Viognier. Viognier. A lot of Viognier is produced all around the Rhone Valley of France. And finally, with the letter Z, Zinfandel, or Zinfandel, classic Californian grape variety. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. It helps me quite a lot. It only takes 1 second, but it helps me quite a lot producing more and more interesting wine videos. Have a look around my YouTube channel if you like learning about wine. I share my passion and knowledge that I have as a winemaker about wine, and we exchange and we share as a community what we think, what we love about wine. Now, as promised, my favorite wine quote of them all. Accept what life has to offer and try to drink from every cup. All wines should be tasted. Some should only be sipped, but for others, drink the whole bottle. This is a quote by Paulo Coelho, famous Brazilian author, whose most famous book was The Alchemist, published in 1988. I will see you soon in the world of wine. I will see you soon in this channel. Cheers.